Welcome back to Squawk Box. Rick Santelli here, live on the floor of the CME. Breaking news, June read on personal income, up exactly the expected amount of 0.4, up 0.4. If we look at spending, up 0.3. Also spot on with expectations. Subtle revisions in the rearview mirror. On the income side, we lost 0.1 from up 0.5% to up 0.4. On spending, exactly the opposite. We went from up 0.4 to up 0.5%. Now, if I look at real personal spending, it was up 0.2 also as expected. Personal consumption expenditure, deflator month over month, up 0.1 year over year, up 1.4. That's 1/10 light versus expectations. And we also lost 0.1 from 1.5 last look to also 1.4. And finally, if we look at the PCE core deflator, it's up 0.2 on a month over month, year over year. It's up 1.6, also 1/10 cooler than expectation. So on any pricing issues, we were a little smidge on the cool side. In terms of income and spending, we delivered exact expectations. I personally always like when income's a bit higher than spending and both numbers are positive. Although no real response in the interest rate complex as we're going into this on the bottom end of a closing range over the last 9 days. That's been between 202 and 208 for 10-year, hovering right now at 204 with the dollar index about 1/5 cent from fresh 26-month highs. Andrew, back to you.
Okay, Rick, thank you for that. To join us right now with more, Steve Liesman, who's got his laptop out, crunching the numbers, looking very intensely at his screen.
I'm trying to see what I'm missing here, but the savings rate has shot up to 8.1%, and I feel like either that's a misprint or my data is. It used to be like 5, and then they revised it up to 6, and I'm trying to find out when the last time we had a savings rate like that. And I actually was expecting a high savings rate. So I went back and looked to see if it was sort of an indicator of like, can you have a recession if people have a lot of money in the bank? And in general, it tends to be something that supports ongoing growth, but it's not like a green or red flashing light either way. But it's hard to see weakness in the consumer with these kinds of numbers. And you can extrapolate from that to how it's hard to see weakness in the economy if the consumer is not going to be terribly weak. Now, maybe you spin a tail here, which is not crazy, that you have this slowdown in corporate profits, you have this slowdown in capital spending, that leads to fall off in hiring, which we haven't seen in any of the high-frequency data, either jobless claims or the BLS numbers.
I think Rick's got some commentary on the savings number, Rick.
Go ahead, Rick. Am I got this wrong?
Well, actually, it's not a comment on savings. It's just a general comment, especially on the first day of a 2-day Fed meeting. Steve, your description is completely perfect. But yet, we are all in some way forced to have a baseline that makes no sense. You came from the vantage point, this certainly doesn't look recession-like, and it just blows my mind. I mean, you know, the press or the media or the business news, they bring up recession. We've had a few bumps in the road, but ultimately, there's very little our lying eyes have been seeing for past quarters or ongoing quarters that really looks recessionary. Am I wrong?
Just to correct what I was saying earlier, the savings rate has been up near this 8% range. I was wrong about that. I was looking at some older data. So it's in that range. That is relatively high compared to where it was. But I think, look, you have to have a huge kind of caveat or asterisk. Economists don't do a very good job of predicting recessions. We don't know.
So then why do we give them the credence of going along with such a bizarre concept? You know, we were a 2% handle on first look at second quarter GDP. I don't know. That would be like saying, wow, you know, I don't really see a depression coming up. It just, I don't get it.